Ghana, number 7 worldwide as far as the trends are concerned. All concerned parties showing their support with the hashtag Free the Citizens. We've got our very own Eric Mauna Egbetai. You are in the trends this morning with hashtag Free the Citizens. He says, we're back again. The Office of the Attorney General says they will not drop the charges and discontinue the prosecution.
Wow.
So the AG or the Office of the AG is still on the matter, and that's why people are asking for this to happen. Now, another interesting development, Johnny, since in the last maybe 18 hours or so, is the student union, student bodies who now want to join in the conversation. So, Casely Hayford,
they now want to join.
They now want to join.
When the steam is already boiling.
Yes.
Okay.
So a number of them. Katanga. Yesterday they were on the social soliciting for help to
Unity Hall, Kesley Hayford Hall.
Yes, there as well.
Of the UCC and the KNUST.
KNUST. So far, those are the two that I've seen actually.
The Vandals of the Commonwealth Hall, the University of Ghana, have not joined yet.
I've not cited that as yet. I'll go on their pages and see if they are also involved. But that is also whipping up a lot of, shall I say, conversation. As we speak now, there are donations trooping to some of these groupings to ensure that they can come and converge in Accra. How far that will go, I'm not so sure.
Right.
And some people also tagging the president far and wide because he's been in New York speaking at the UN General Assembly. They want to know, is he aware of what's happening back home? So a number of you also tagging the president.
Maybe he has not heard.
Well, people actually went to New York to protest, Ghanaians living in New York, and there were counter-protesters. So what happens is the counter-protesters got there first, and they just about missed those that came to protest against Galamsey. But those that went to counter-protest went with pictures of the president, Akufo-Addo, to thank him for his tenure. They said, Nana, we're so thankful for you. But there was no clash like we saw last year with the UK front, where the counter-protesters clashed with those protesting. And a lot of artwork also, Johnny, with hashtag Free the Citizens, and a lot of pictures as well with Galamsey, because like you said this morning, that is the reason why
that's the main conversation. This diversion of whatever, it will not work. That's the main conversation. And for me, I think that the populace and the citizens, because see, the Galamsey conversation is not just for a small group of people, it's for all of us. The rivers along the southwestern part of Ghana are all gone. Tano, Pra, and Cobra, they are all gone. The Densu now is under threat, right? The Volta River could be under threat very soon. So we need to wake up. Go to the north. Galamsey is happening. It didn't used to be the case. And I'm saying Galamsey predates the Fourth Republic, which has been run by the NDC and the MPP. Galamsey has always been here with us. All this talk about alluvial gold, whatever it is, all of it is Galamsey.
That's right.
But the Galamsey then was done in a decent manner that it did not disturb nature. What we have now is being done with careless abandon. People pick machines, chamfan as they call it, and put it right in the heart of the river. The heart of the river. And they dig the very depth and bed of the river. They mess up everything.
That's right.
People pick excavators, cut down cocoa trees, and start digging indiscriminately. One of our callers, Kaswaboga, said that, look, he knows somebody who is an investor in this Galamsey thing. And the person said he has put in 6 million. He has only gotten 200,000. So he will dig until he finds his 6 million.
Hey!
And this person is not digging based on research. Say, oh, we have found gold. It's at Media General and it's around where the car park A or B or C is. No. They're just digging everywhere at Media General.
That means they'll also not be doing any restoration.
No. They don't have time. But which Galamsey is doing reclamation of the land and trying to restore? Nobody's doing it. And that's why I say the fanfu that we're doing, we're trying to plant trees. We're planting the trees where there are already trees. Or where they're... Recently, I exposed how seedlings had been dumped around the Kanda area.
That's right.
There are trees already lined up on that GBC stretch. So where were the kids supposed to plant the trees? You see how foolish we are. Where were they supposed to plant the trees? That around that GBC stretch, there are trees all around. GBC is green. When you leave there and you're going towards the Kanda Estate Cluster of Schools, it's green.
That's right.
So where are they going to plant the trees? The median has trees in them. So where were they going to plant the trees? That's how foolish we are. And then we supervise people in the same Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources that is telling us to plant trees with the Forestry Commission. Read Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boate's report. And what role the Forestry Commission and what role the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources played in the depletion of our forest reserves. We live in a country where we had a few people who met who thought it wise that we should endorse and actually formulate and draft laws to allow people to get into forest reserves to go and mine. That's where we lost the plot.
That's right.
You have a forest reserve that has been there since forever. Then you have some people who thought they were wise enough, the wisest of all of us put together in a room, and they said, let's draft a law and take it to Parliament and get people to go and mine in our forest reserves. And 47 forest reserves with all the rivers and lakes and streams in it destroyed. How do you convince me that you are wise? How do you convince me that you are wise? Because you are trying now to plant trees. Do you know how long it takes for a tree to grow, to mature? You are cutting down trees and planting baby trees.
We're talking about these trees, 300 years old, 200 years old.
What was the crime of Sada and Jida? Was it not cut tree, plant tree? What we are doing now, is it not an advanced version of Sada and Jida? Is it not cut tree and plant tree? So everything you criticized, you have actually done worse than what you criticized. And then when people come out to demonstrate, you want to intimidate them.
Shame on you people. Why you go arrest them? No, sir. You are the limit.
Let us all unite to uphold and make and great and strong. We are all equal. And one policeman attack, one policeman attack. Handle him. Bring him. Take the other one. Come on now. Hey, gentlemen.
And that's how some protesters were picked up on the second day of the demonstration. In fact, the third day, most of the demonstrators didn't turn up because most of them had been arrested, actually. So when they say, well, they abandoned the demo, you are actually intimidating the people, and you had kept them at places where their family and friends didn't know where they were. How are they going to turn up?
Precisely.
How are they going to turn up?
Precisely. By the time it was all said and done, we saw that nearly all the protesters had been picked up. So as soon as you show up on the scene, you just be on the sidewalk. We saw the police advance towards them and just go and pick them up.
Yeah,
just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. And what did they do?
Just like that. And I recall last year as well at the demonstrations, the intimidation tactics. Hey, at one point, you are there demonstrating and then the barricades start to surround you, all in a bid to intimidate you, to frighten you. When you live in a country where the Constitution actually protects your right to demonstrate, to protest. And what are they protesting for? That duty bearers do the right thing and stop Galamsey and step up and protect all of us so that we don't die. That is the crime.
Well, Ghanaians in the United States yesterday, while the president got ready to deliver his UN General Assembly speech in New York, Ghanaians in the US also took to the streets. Listen.
So we are here for one reason, in solidarity with our brothers who have been arrested for protesting. They are protesting for illegal mining activities causing our water bodies to be poisoned and polluted. This is how the water bodies look in Ghana now, except the northern part of the country, the Volta region to the northern part. Every other water body in Ghana looks exactly like this. The reason is the Chinese, in collaboration with the president and his people, are mining gold in the rivers, in the lakes, and this is what the water looks like. And this is the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. And what is happening now is when people raise their voices against the water pollution, he uses the police to arrest them, intimidate them, and as we speak, about 50 of our colleagues are in detention because the president controls the judiciary. He controls the police service, and people are quiet in the country, and we cannot allow this to continue. And we want the international media, the United Nations, to put the president in order, because you cannot hold protesters in prison as well as in police cells without legal representation and medical care. This is what is happening. 60-year-olds are getting arrested. Little kids who were included in the protest are being are detained as we speak. Pregnant women are being detained as we speak. And this is the president of Ghana. This is what illegal mining called Galamsey looks like. And I want you to go on the internet and do a search for Galamsey or illegal mining in Ghana. And I bet you see all our rivers looking like this. And we cannot even speak. Very soon, Ghana will be importing water. People are having kidney diseases because the water is polluted. The Ghana Water Company cannot even find the right chemicals to be able to purify the water for normal consumption. Many people are importing water into the country, and this is what we are standing against. We are also in solidarity with our brothers who have been arrested and have been detained, and we are asking the government to release them as soon as possible. Release the protesters now. Release the citizens now. Release the citizens now.
And these are citizens of Ghana in the United States who are joining voices with those on social media and those mainstream media, CSOs, all who are asking for those who are arrested for protesting and insisting that Galamsey becomes a thing of the past be released as a matter of urgency. Noah Adamte is joining us now. He's counsel for the Democracy Hub. Good morning. Thank you very much for your time, counsel.
Good morning. Good morning, Johnny, and good morning to your listeners.
Great. First of all, have you been able to account for all your members who were picked up by the police?
Yeah, so let me just make a slight correction. So we are lawyers for protest defense. So we are not members of the Democracy Hub.
Right.
We are lawyers providing legal services to persons who are arrested during the demonstration.
And I'm sure that you would have had a list that you were following. Are you able to account for all those people? Because some of the dissenting voices on social media say all of the people who were picked up have not been accounted for as far as they are concerned, because the people who are arraigned before the courts do not match up or add up to the numbers that were picked on the ground. What do you say?
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult issue to give a definite answer on, because the police itself informed the general public through their public relations officer 2 days ago that they had 42 people in custody.
3FM 92.
And we know that between that time and yesterday, about 5 persons had also been arrested. So the number should be around 47. But on Tuesday, the police arraigned 39 people before the courts. And yesterday, they brought 13 people. That takes the number a little over 50, telling us that the police itself does not know the number of people it arrested during the protest. And that has been our scare from yesterday, because it is possible that some persons may be in cells across the city, and no one knows where they are, and the police itself will not know that they have those people in cells because of the protest. So this is a very worrying issue. And we have issued our first letter somewhere on Monday to the IGP requesting a list of all persons who have been arrested and where they are being kept, the courts they are going to be arraigned at, and the charges that were to be leveled against them. And we did not get any feedback from the IGP. So the comment on social media and around that certain persons are unaccounted for is actually very true. And Johnny, you need to also take note of this.
Right.
Yesterday, out of the 13 people who were arraigned before, who were charged,
3FM
2 were on admission at the hospital, so they couldn't attend court.
Right.
So only 11 were arraigned.
Right.
When they were done with court, because the court adjourned the case to today at 1:30, they had to be taken back to police custody. And up till now, we can't find all of them. Because if the person was being kept initially at Bachuna police station, we were told the person was now being taken to Cantonment police station for whatever reason we don't know. We have been to Cantonment police station, they have not received that person. So for someone like Felicity Nelson, who was part of those who were arraigned yesterday, as I am speaking to you now, we do not know the specific police station she is being held at. We've been to Cantonment, we've been to Bachuna, where we were informed she was going to be. She is not there. So we're not even able to give food to them throughout the night. So that is a very worrying situation that we have.
Are you suggesting to me, counsel, that you who are supposed to be providing legal support and advice to these clients of yours cannot have access to them to be able to even guide them as to what to say and what not to say in court if they appear before a judge?
Yes, we've not had that. And that has been an issue we have raised for the past 3 days. So upon their arrest, the police officers at the various stations were informed, according to them, an order from above, that they should not allow any person access to those arrested. So those of us who went to the Accra regional headquarters, the main gate, that's the entrance, was blocked by heavily armed police officers who told us that lawyers, family, no one was to be given access to those arrested. And this continued to when they were taken to their various cells to be held. When we went there, the officers in charge, the station officers and even the commanders would tell you either there is no one here, even though we knew there was someone, or you're not allowed to speak to them. So we don't have access to them as lawyers and even their families also until the first day they were arraigned in court. And that was the first day we had the charge sheet informing us of the charges leveled against them. And that was also the first day some of them had any form of meeting with their families. So that's a very worrying issue. And yesterday we were able to ask the court for 30 minutes to conference with our clients because that was the first time we were meeting them. And the court gave us the 30 minutes to speak to them, although not adequate, but it was the best we could do, because if we were going to ask the court to adjourn so that we can have conference, it is possible the court will adjourn to a very late date, and then their rights will also be inconvenienced since they will be taken back to custody. So we had to have a makeshift conference with them in the courtroom and get to know the state of affairs when they were being held up. So we've not had very good access to our clients, and that is a very worrying situation as I speak to you.
Now, is this normal? This situation you are describing to us, hours after your clients are picked up, you don't have access to them. Is it normal?
It is not. It's not normal at all. It is not just against the constitution and the laws of the country. It is against any form of reasonableness that an accused person who is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and the Constitution guarantees his right to counsel of his choice, and the duty of the police and the state to provide all necessary facilities to allow the accused persons to make a defense. It is against all forms of reasonableness for the police to say that for the 48 hours when these persons have been arrested, they were not going to be given access to their lawyers. And some of them, their statements were taken. And the police knows that when you arrest a person, your first thing to do is to inform them of the reason of their arrest, their right to counsel. And they have to make a choice whether they want counsel or not. And when they say they want counsel, you cannot take their statements until their counsel is present. So the police has breached every provision of the Constitution in relation to fair trial and the personal liberty of the persons who were arrested. So it is not normal in any circumstance.
There are those who are asking for counsel for these affected persons who have been treated unfairly by law and by the Constitution to sue the Ghana Police Service and to sue the Attorney General. Is that an option you would like to explore?
Yes, it's an option we are exploring. So yesterday we filed a petition with SHRAJ, informing SHRAJ of the human rights abuses, and we are hoping SHRAJ will investigate and come out with a report favorable to those who suffered that unfortunate circumstance under the hands of the police and the state. Last 2 years, when there was the Fix the Country demonstration, people suffered such human rights abuses, and there is a case pending in court up till now, waiting to be heard on against the state and the IGP on the abuses that went on. But we are not giving up. We will file a fresh action against the IGP and against the state concerning what is being done to citizens who were arrested in line with the protests that went on. And we even are considering going to the Supreme Court to ask the Supreme Court to set clear guidelines and modalities on how persons who are arrested should be treated by the police. So we will explore all of those possible angles in the coming days.
Martin Pebu, 2, it says, for example, that all offenses now are bailable. Were you surprised when the courts refused your clients bail, including pregnant women and people who said we're just returning from mass and were picked up? Were you surprised?
We were absolutely surprised. We were absolutely surprised. But I need to say that although Martin Pebu says that all offenses are bailable, it still leaves it in the discretion of the judge to decide whether to grant the bail or not. But looking at the conditions of the persons who were presented to court, one person being pregnant, one person a tetanus patient who has not received any form of medical care, another person who was diabetic and also asthmatic, and a young guy who was not even part of the protest, whose arm was fractured by reason of how he was treated by the police. When all of these arguments were canvassed before the court, we were surprised that the judge did not consider these things to grant the accused person's bail. So we are surprised, but today we are in court for those who were arraigned yesterday, and we are hoping that this time the courts will be considerate and grant the accused person's bail, especially because majority of those who were arraigned yesterday had nothing to do with the protest. Some of them were arrested just because they were bystanders watching a public event that was ongoing. There were people who were arrested as far as Vienna City, where they were in the club or the pub there having a drink, and they had nothing to do with the protest. My question yesterday was whether they were arrested because of their hairstyle, because they were wearing dreadlocks, and so it seemed they were rascals, and we can't allow that to continue. So we are hoping that the courts will consider all of these and then grant the accused person's bail today.
I want to ask a very final question, and these protesters were asking one simple question or making a simple request of the government and the powers that be, that Galamsey, which has destroyed our water bodies, our vegetation and forest cover, must stop. And that was why they were on the streets. Are your clients in good spirits, given the fact that if they are released today, to continue pressing for that demands? Do you know? Have you interacted with them to that point to know?
I've not had that discussion with them. But looking at their demeanor coming to court, I am satisfied and convinced that these are persons who are very passionate about the issue of Galamsey, and there is no way they are going to relent on their efforts. They will continue to press, they will continue to exercise their right to protest and their right to free speech, to demand on the government to do right by the citizens of Ghana. So I'm very convinced that they will do that.
Noah Tete Adamte, thank you very much. We're grateful for your time.
Thank you.
He's a private legal practitioner representing those who were arrested for demonstrating, and some were just bystanders, some who were observing, some were returning from mass, according to them, including a pregnant woman who was handcuffed. Telemo, that's what Gasmila says. Oh, yeah,